Hi, Miranda. Did you just say that? Or was that like 9 minutes ago? You don't realize how connected you are. That's today's topic. Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. I am Allegra Stein, if we haven't met yet. If this is your first time watching, I'm Allegra Stein of Allegra Stein Coaching. I love helping people do what they most want to do. And this past weekend, I ran, last year I had this idea to combine the power of camping, which I love, with the power of connection and conversation. And I found this amazing space here in the Northeast in the Adirondacks and booked it for this past weekend and developed campfire coaching, which was, up until this weekend, just an idea. And then I went out into the woods with some amazing women and realized that it was just as I expected and nothing like I expected. And we talked a lot about expectations and how things can change. And it was a very powerful experience. It was for me, and it was for the guests that were there. And it was beautiful. On top of everything, it was just this beautiful location. And I told this story yesterday when I was here with my friend Kate, who had come with us. And I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more so I have these daily, like when I'm at my computer or I have my phone on me, there are habits that I get into, especially when I want to pause. And I don't know if it's anything like you. And if any of this resonates with you, I invite you to please share in the comments your questions. Because again, it's nice to know if you're out there, if you're watching, say hi. I have these habits when I have my phone on me or when I'm at my computer where I'll kind of like look at all the same it's like a list of websites that I'll just kind of pop into and read really quick. Or, okay, have I looked at my Instagram? Okay, have I looked at my business page? Okay. So it's like this chain of events. I don't know if you have kind of a habit with your tech. But my phone's on me a lot, especially because I have kids at school and I'm like, well, I need it for emergencies or someone texts me and we have plans, or I've done one of these live events and I just want to follow up and see if any questions have come through and answer them as quickly as I can. I love listening to podcasts. So I'll, even in the mornings when I'm going to go take my shower, I'll bring my phone with me so that I can play a podcast while I'm getting dressed or just in the bathroom finishing up. So there's just kind of this constant connection to this thing, right? Or to this thing. And this past weekend, it was interesting because we went up on Friday, and until all the guests showed up on Friday, so the arrival window is like starting at 1. Some people showed up as late as 4. But until the guests showed up, I wanted to keep my phone on me because I just wanted to make sure that, if anyone had any issues or they were lost, they were going to be late, I was available to them. But all the while that I was waiting, like the minute I got out of this setting that I'm just used to every day, and I was up there in the woods, and it's gorgeous. You're just sitting in the woods and there's a river flowing and you hear birds chirping and there's no television and there's no computers and it's stunning. I could feel the weight of my phone in my pocket. And if you carry your phone in your pocket, I think you know what I'm talking. It's just become this thing. You see it everywhere. Just have our phones in our pockets. And I hated it. I just wanted it out. I was like, I don't want to carry this anymore. And the minute that last person arrived, I was like, boop, off, airplane, whatever, and put it away. And one of the many things that made campfire coaching so amazing was that a lot of people were experiencing not having much to do, like not being connected. A lot of guests elected to keep their phones put away. We would maybe kind of pull them out in the morning and just like check in with the families. Is everything okay? There was very limited Wi-Fi, so it's not like you could just connect anytime. You have to kind of be at this certain spot. But a lot of people elected to put their phones away, including me. And even those, and there was different degrees of it. It was a very personal experience for people, but there was this decision to disconnect. There was this decision to disconnect, to kind of take this thing, this device that we feel so connected to, and just set it aside. And for long stretches of time, kind of be like, I don't know. I don't have anything to do. There are lots of things you could do. It's not like you were chaining, you could go sit by the river. You could talk to people. You could work on your journal. There was this awesome, we had this awesome creation station where there was some really cool art stuff going on. You could go on a walk. You could take a nap. So it's not that you couldn't do things, but the thing we're most used to, and that thing that just has us so hyper connected all the time and thinking all the time. And even when we say, oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm just going to sit and look at my phone, it's doing something. Like, it's doing something when you're just looking at stuff and inputs coming in and you're processing thoughts. And so it wasn't until we were there and we chose not to have that be a part of our lives, because we'd invested time and money to come to this place. And it was like, where, if not here, are we going to explore those edges and figure out who we are when we have nothing to do? And it wasn't until I came back on Sunday, I was really tired, and then yesterday in particular, that I realized how connected we are all the time. And I'm sure some of you watching be like, no, I take time for myself, but it's still, like long stretches of disconnect, long stretches of telling people you will not be able to reach me. Or if you need to, here's like this alternative landline number you can call, because I'll hear that. But everything else is just quiet. There is no input. It's what I'm choosing to do. Maybe I'm choosing to sit and do nothing. Maybe I'm choosing to read. Maybe I'm choosing to do some art or to cook. But that hyperconnectivity was very much highlighted this weekend. And I don't know, I'm curious what's coming. I think some of you are watching live, so I'm curious if this is landing with you. Do you feel like you're super connected? Are you even aware of it? And I think that was part of it too, is that you're not aware of it until you don't have it, until you choose not to have it. And sometimes that takes like putting yourself in a new environment, saying, you know what, I'm going to go to this thing and I'm going to be in the woods and I'm going to just soak it all in and get as much out of it as I can. And a part of that is getting rid of all these things that keep us connected to stuff outside of us in that moment. And it was beautiful. And it's something that I'd like to maintain. Now, yesterday, I really felt it. Yesterday, I was like, I don't want to reconnect. I don't want to check all this stuff. But then kind of last night, I sat down to do some work and I just found myself falling back into that habit, connecting with things, looking things up, mindlessly, just kind of checking in, right? Because I want to know. And today too, kind of fighting that and mentally that game of that story I tell myself, like, no, I really want this. I want to know what's happening in the news, or I want to know what's happening here and there. Karen's sharing, so aware. We go to the woods for a week with no tech. More than a week is needed. We tried to make Sundays no tech days. Definitely. And what I've found is that it's really hard in your space, like in your regular space, like at home. And I think it's because we're so habituated in our homes, like in our everyday spaces, to do that, to kind of be like, well, yeah, I just keep my phone with me when I get out of the shower. It's just what I do. Or I play my podcast when I'm putting on my makeup, and so it's really hard to break out of it. Even this morning, I was like, well, yeah, I wake up and I have my water. And while I have my water, I just check in. I check in with things. That's just what I do in this space. Whereas when I was in the woods, I had zero interest in doing that. When I was in the woods, I just wanted to go down and sit by the fire and just sit and write in my journal, or take notes down, or go on a walk, or like I did yoga. Karen's sharing, yeah, especially with the home office. Most definitely. I'm the same way. It's like, and so I think we just fall into these habits of moving our bodies into the space we're used to moving our bodies. And when we're in those spaces, just engaging with our stuff. And I don't know that I don't know if you can become aware of it till you're not. And Karen, I suspect you're very aware of it because you put yourself in these situations where you're not attached at all. And then coming in, I was saying, I wrote to a couple campers yesterday. I was like, reentry is rough because you're just suddenly, you're like in this middle space of really slowing down and settling down and re-engaging and reconnecting and falling back into old habits and trying to be deliberate about that and mindful and make that last as long as possible. And I'm still trying to do that even today, a couple days later. So that's kind of my thoughts on how connected we are and wanting to ask you if you realize how connected you are, if you realize how much time you're spending constantly doing, even when you think you're not doing, even when you're just like relaxing on the couch, but you're looking at your phone, or relaxing on the couch, but listening to a podcast, like constant stimulation, you know, and stuff coming in. And I've just experienced this thing where you giving into that, and it's hard. I got to tell you, it's difficult. And I watch certain campers who, you know, for them, that idea of disconnecting and not being connected was very, very new. Well, not new in life because we all were born disconnected, right? But they hadn't experienced that in a long time, and it was difficult, and they worked on it, and they were mindful of it, and they let themselves sit with that discomfort of like, I'm not going to post anything, or I'm not going to take a picture. I'm not going to pull this thing out. I'm just going to sit. I'm just going to sit. And because of their willingness to do that, they realized that they could. And that was amazing. Miranda's sharing, I'm very aware I left my phone at home while shopping once and realized how much I wanted to check Instagram and couldn't. Totally. And that's the thing. Leaving the device doesn't necessarily take away the urge to want to look at it, or leaving the source of input doesn't change that curiosity. And I found myself, you know, in the mornings when I would wake up, or, you know, in the mornings, I would check to see if there was any news from my kids and send off a quick text to my family. And I had to, I was very much in it in the woods. So I wasn't like, I want to go look at all the things. But it crossed my mind, like, ooh, I could maybe check Instagram real quick. Nope, I don't want to do it. Or I could maybe post this. Nope, I don't want to do it. Like being in that environment didn't take away perhaps the urge to make that thing happen. But not doing it was what was so powerful. And really being like, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to be here. I want to be here, the trees and the wind and my coffee and these people. So, but I totally get that. Even when it's not there, we feel it. Any other thoughts or questions for you if this is hitting at all, landing, anything you're experiencing? I want to put up really quick that there is another Campfire coaching session coming up at the end of August. I will put that link up for you to see. It's just campfire-coaching.com. And if experiencing some of this interests you, if you want to put yourself in a space where you're going to explore that edge of slowing down and really seeing what's on the other side of it, which is quite profound, I encourage you to take a look, reach out to me with questions. It was, I just have to say, it was an amazing event too for the friends who came, because there were some groups of friends, and watching those friendships over the course of the weekend was quite beautiful. So if there's anyone you think you might want to come with, feel free to share it. Or if you can't make it, but you know someone who might be a good fit, please pass the invitation along, because I'm really excited to get back out there and would love to have you with me. All right, everyone. If you're not watching live, as always, share comments, questions along with the video. Feel free to share it with anyone who you know that is super connected and may not realize it. If you think this would be a good message for them, you can click that share button. And yeah, you're all great. I'll be back tomorrow. Feel free to reach out directly too if you want to PM me with any particular questions or themes or ideas you'd love to hear me talk about. I had a few come in, and I will be working those into the lineup. I'm still kind of processing some good stuff for this weekend, and I want to make sure I'm sharing it with you. So, all right. Be well, folks. Talk to you soon.